The war in Ukraine has become a defining conflict of the 21st century, not only because of its brutal battles on the ground but also because of the global consequences it continues to create. What began as an invasion by Russia with the goal of weakening NATO and reclaiming influence has instead unfolded into a drawn-out struggle that has reshaped alliances, shaken economies, and altered the world's political landscape. The conflict has become a test of endurance, strategy, and willpower, with both sides pushing their limits to gain an advantage while the international community watches closely. In many ways, this war is no longer limited to Ukraine. It has become a confrontation between two visions of world order, one led by democratic unity and the other by authoritarian ambition. The scale of destruction inside Ukraine is staggering. Cities that once thrived with normal life have been turned into ruins, with entire neighborhoods flattened by missile strikes and artillery fire. Civilians continue to endure the brunt of the violence, as critical infrastructure like hospitals, schools, and power plants have been damaged. The war has displaced millions of people, creating one of the largest refugee crises in Europe since World War II. Images of families forced to flee with only a few belongings highlight the human cost of the conflict, reminding the world that behind the headlines and military strategies, countless lives are being torn apart. For Ukraine, survival has become more than a military objective. It has become a matter of preserving national identity, sovereignty, and the will to exist as a free nation. On the military front, the war has shown both the resilience of Ukraine and the vulnerabilities of Russia. Early expectations that Russia would secure a swift victory were quickly proven wrong. Instead, Ukrainian forces, aided by advanced Western weapons and intelligence, managed to push back Russian advances and reclaim key territories. Drones, precision-guided missiles, and modern defense systems have given Ukraine the ability to strike deeper into Russian positions, exposing weaknesses in Moscow's strategy. Russia, despite its vast resources, has faced mounting losses in manpower and equipment, highlighting the limits of its military power in modern warfare. What was meant to be a quick show of dominance has turned into a grinding war of attrition. The conflict has also reshaped NATO in unexpected ways. Before the war, the alliance was often criticized for lacking direction and cohesion, with some members hesitant to commit resources to defense. Putin believed he could exploit those divisions and weaken NATO by showing that it was powerless to respond to aggression. Instead, the opposite occurred. NATO found renewed purpose, uniting behind Ukraine with military, economic, and humanitarian support. Defense budgets across Europe have increased, new members such as Finland and Sweden have joined the alliance, and military cooperation has intensified. Rather than breaking NATO, Putin's actions have solidified it into the strongest and most relevant it has been since the Cold War. Economically, the war has created a ripple effect felt far beyond Europe. Sanctions on Russia have cut off access to global markets, freezing assets, and limiting its ability to fund the war. The once strong energy ties between Russia and Europe have been largely severed, forcing Europe to seek alternatives and adapt quickly. While Russia has attempted to pivot toward Asia, it faces challenges in building the same level of economic influence it once enjoyed with the West. At the same time, global food and energy supplies have been disrupted, creating hardships in developing countries that relied on Ukrainian grain or Russian oil.